and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be mainly clear with a low of 58. On Friday, expect mostly sunny skies with a high of 78. Friday night will be partly cloudy with a chance of a shower late and a low of 61. Saturday is shaping up to be beautiful with a mix of sunshine and a few clouds, reaching a high of 80. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
I love America. I love the Constitution. I love the First Amendment. I want to carry and all else. I love it, property. And let me tell you something. If you care about your country, read Ludwig von Mises and the 6 lessons of the Austrian Economic School, motherfuckers.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white,
I love people like our next guest, and I'll tell you why. Life is short. Live it. And when you have somebody who tries so many things and succeeds, it isn't because they don't fail, it's because they never quit. And you can't decide who's more proud of them, their parents or their kids. That surmises my next guest. She's a self-made serial entrepreneur, real estate developer, interior designer, sustainable farmer, and television personality. Star of Discovery Channel's Undercover Billionaire. She built a multi-million-dollar business with $100. She owns the Big Z Ranch. She's from California, or she lives in California. She ran for governor, but she didn't stand a chance. She's the best people among us. As we know, our government is run by the least among us. Elaine Culotti, how are you?
Buddy, thanks for having me on.
Well, I love the story, right? And I do feel this way. It isn't the best among us that gravitates and succeeds in politics. It's the least among us. And the reason I say that is I'm from Chicago. We are the essence of a gangster government mafia that gives you the illusion of an election, but the result of Iraq.
That's a great comparison. I mean, I would hope that we could try to change that. I want you to know that it's not for lack of trying. There were lots of great candidates that ran for governor. Unfortunately, votes are not being counted, and it's just really shocking.
Well, they're
really
being
shocking.
counted, just not the way that they're supposed to be, right? I mean, this is the other thing. And, you know, this has always fascinated me. You'll forgive me. I am not a cultured person or somebody who has a lot of letters after my name. I'm just a punk from a neighborhood that kind of observe things. So when you turn to liars for a result, you could pretty much expect a lie, can't you?
Oh, my God. Lying liars who lie like a rug. It's unbelievable. It's like one for me, none for you, one for me, none for you.
Yeah, it's the Stooges counting money. And, you know, this is something we've seen, you know, really. And I say that, listen, in Chicago, I don't know if it's as well known out there as it is here, bragged since 1960. Every Democrat short-in-the-pants mafia member, all those moron dailies, I don't know if you've ever seen a family photo, but it's something to behold. All of the gangsters that destroyed my once great city. Cook County, by the way, if you take a look at this, take a look. You want to laugh one day when you're feeling blue? Pull up Cook County commissioners. You'll be in a good mood for a week. All of them bragged about stealing the election in 1960. It's like the best kept, you know, and don't worry, I got a guy. They've normalized political corruption. It's called clout. And yet, there are people out there that still believe, if I only get enough votes, we're going to win an election. California has really taken that model, and they put lipstick on it. And you guys are better looking, but it's the same short-in-the-pants mafia that runs everything, isn't it?
I think it's a completely and unbelievably rigged system. I think it's rigged against anybody with original thought. I think original thought is what we are up against. They do not want it. They do not want it.
Now
I am. They do not want original thought.
Well, here's the other thing, right? Because California has done something in a very short period of time. When you look at Chicago, it took 100 years to get this rubber stamp of kind of a hybrid socialism where the government pretends to be altruistic but only delivers ghetto living. California went from really a solid, fiscally solid state, a growing state, to really what is now a totalitarian Soviet system. And this is the part where you've lived it. You've built businesses under this. So when you look at what it took to get the mindset of us, the mindset of a slave, where we feel lucky if they leave us with 50%, maybe if we got to go to count, we get 60% of the money we made. And you're enslaved and indebted to people you don't even want in your neighborhood, let alone to pay for their health care and their dope and everything else they need. So that's really a psychological jujitsu that's pulled on the people that were born of freedom and liberty, the youngest and the richest country, because we were not socialist. We were not communist, but yet we've been slow cooked into it. And I think it starts with the taxing system, don't you?
It's definitely a tax problem, but it's also, a digital problem. I don't think people realize how much money they spend on the communications that they're using every day and the tracking devices that they're using every day. And the fact that their entire lives really belong to someone else and they pay for it.
Yes.
These data centers that they're putting all over the place, we're paying for those. We're paying for them to steal our data. It's crazy. That's our data.
They monetize us.
They should be paying us. I don't understand how this happened.
Well,
it's taxes. Taxes are just the sideline that we know we're writing checks for, but what about the stuff we don't even realize is happening to us? And when you say about like boiling water, just think of those frogs in a pot, They're dead before they can even think to jump out. They don't even realize how hot that water is.
Well, what's interesting is how they monetize us, right? That's what data is. It's our information. It's our habits, our spending, our value, our wealth, our earnings. And never has it been a thought outside of, and by the way, we talked about it. You'd be proud of this show. We talked about it with lawyers. Why aren't there class action suits to sue for my own data? And as far as these data centers, why do I have to have my data stored somewhere else when I could store it in my own house? We don't need all these centers everywhere. It would be infinitesimal small to store my own data or my family's data, and now I am in charge of it. But look at how they have you cheering against your own servitude, your own slavery. And this, why, with a nation full of lawyers, are they all in Washington just figuring out how to destroy liberty and individuality?
Oh, my gosh. I don't think that anybody in Washington that's really at the top of the food chain really even understands what's happening.
You're doing that thing. You're doing that thing, Elaine, my mother used to do.
It's a layer above Washington. Get a little higher. Go up more.
Oh, yeah.
Look at the billionaires. Look at the Fed. Look above the Fed. It's so high up. When they talk about this oligarchy and they talk about the deep state, these are people that are so far and they're in outer space.
Yes.
Compared to the people that are making legislation.
But Elaine,
they don't have any idea what they're doing.
My mother used to do this. You think everybody has the same intention. There are some bad hombres out there. And you're right about the Leviathan. I completely agree with you. And I'm very well versed in the illusion of our republic, right? You've got the Fabians versus the version of communist or whatever you want to call it. And I know how they're trying to put the toothpaste in the tube and get us back to that illusion. And that's the real threat that a guy like Trump makes. Who shook the world up a little bit. But what's fascinating though is to think it's they're just happenstance, the representatives. They are in it hook, line, and sinker, and they love to be the Politburo. This is an American that has been Sovietized. And they have an illusion, right? Heads they win, tails we lose. And that's why, today in Chicago, what you saw today wasn't just this coming together of some form of compromise. There is no compromising with slavery. There's just slavery. When you see Obama and Bush and Biden, even though he didn't know where he was or what day it was, and you see Hillary Clinton and all the rest of them there, that represents them panicking. They cannot figure out how to get me and you and the listeners to this show and the people that support you and the idea that we don't want to be ruled, how they can get that toothpaste back in the tube. So this, to me, is a very exciting time to be alive. And I'm curious to know what happened to you when you ran.
Oh, my gosh. I wasn't allowed to get onto a debate stage. They block it. It's so crazy. They do this thing called media polling, and they're doing it in Chicago, too. The media groups that host the debates do not poll independents or candidates that they don't want to see on a debate stage. They can get away with it on the polls. And then if you don't have a poll ranking, you can't get on a debate stage. It's actually plan stealing. It's really incredible. It's dumb, simple, so simple, and I wish I knew.
So here's what I think, and I'm curious to know what you think about it, because I'm very well versed in your history, and I think if we can get enough people that understand it's time to redraw the American map, all this talk and attention on foreign policy, I personally don't give a rip. I'm more interested in my country. And when you see a state like Illinois, you just described it, and we have a simpleton now running for governor against the most corrupt governor we've had for a while, and that's saying something. I think we have 4 that went to the joint. So J.B. Pritzker was on FBI tapes with Rod Blagojevich, and the morons could care less. So they ran a straw man against him who looks very similar to him. He could be a before and after, only you just don't know which one he's supposed to be as the Republican, and they freeze him out. He didn't even run in the like he didn't even debate in the primary. He just had the money, and now he's the guy. So the way you do this is we had 33 counties that voted for secession, literally took the time to vote and approved it. Indiana voted they want to accept it. Now, California is very similar. You're 80%, 74% of your counties voted against the Democrat fraud, the hornswoggler, office tramp Kamala Harris. 74%. You've also been voting against Gavin Newsom. And they voted for the recall, and they got their election stolen. So there's a large part of those counties in California that want to secede. You see what's going on in Washington State, in Oregon. You see New York State. You see even New Jersey. These are the way to do it is the counties. And if you ever looked at an election result for president, did you ever look at the nation and see the counties, how they vote versus who the winner is of the Electoral College?
Oh, yeah, it's pretty incredible. We have this obvious problem. We have these densely populated huge cities that are bankrupt, and they're all on the dole, so they all vote for this, more dole. They want more money, more gifts, more gifts, more gifts. So they're so densely populated. There's 4 million people in L.A. Think about that.
Yeah, it's insane.
4 million people.
And at least 1 million are legal.
More, maybe even more,
No,
and 35% are on services because they don't have any money. It's really difficult to win. And what they did to Spencer Pratt, it's deplorable. I mean, that guy actually got people up and at him,
Oh, he got
And the question is what happened to the Republicans that said they voted for him, but they can't find the votes? They say 11,000 votes are missing.
He got robbed with the lights on. That poor guy got robbed with the lights on.
Right, and we need Los Angeles mobilized like that to get Hilton across the finish line. And how are we going to get Hilton across the finish line if people feel like their vote doesn't matter? You take away their mobilization skills, that's one thing. But when you take away their hopes and dreams, that's another.
That's as fake as a promise from Barack Obama, that whole thing. Whatever the outcome is, just give me the outcome now. Let's not pretend you're having an election. But what I think the way to go is for people like you, people like Pratt, people like the decent people who are tired of this system, is to demand that the federal government itself allow the counties to secede. And I personally don't care if you don't want to engulf them in other states, create more states. This is a huge country that only is 6% developed. 94% of this country's land is undeveloped. So why just have 50 states? Let's have 500 states for all I care. But let's do it so you can stop enslaving us to the least among us, and we are governed by the people who are gypsies and are confident in stealing elections. I'm tired of the system as it exists. If you're not going to use technology to validate the elections, then let's break it all apart. What do you think?
Oh, my God, I love your secession idea. Anytime you can put – by the way, La Jolla, California has gotten the furthest on seceding from San Diego. They're trying to set up their own city, and they're actually very close to getting it done. And I'm following that very closely. And might I also say, I went to the mayor of Los Angeles, the infamous Karen Bass, and I asked her to help me let the Pacific Palisades separate under a de-annexing during the fire so that we could rebuild for ourselves. And do you know that I was almost able to get that done in agreement with everybody until Karen Bass decided like it would be too much of a hot potato. Here's the thing. They need the money from these rich neighborhoods. They need the money from these rich neighborhoods, and that's why they say no to it.
So what's fascinating, too, is to watch the difference of success. Right now, you're able to be successful in a very punitive system. But when I move to a better state, a well-run state, I will never live where Democrats govern again. Never. And the reason is once you do, you can never go backwards. It's like turning yourself into prison. And I watched Shawshank Redemption. Andy Dufresne did not turn himself back in. So this is what I feel about these Democrat areas. Once you're out, you can never go back in. And when you look at why California is really going to fight it, it's only a handful of people that actually make money anyway. and actually pay taxes. In fact, it's 28% of California actually makes money. So you have a massively governed by welfare recipients. And this is the big argument to have. And I do think now's the time to have it, because there are some of those people who would choose not to be a recipient of welfare had they been presented the correct argument and were given the choice.
Oh, the job is to keep people on welfare, to keep people in the welfare state voting for the people that are influencing the welfare state, for sure. This big scandal here about going down to basically our area called Skid Row, where nobody has a house, and actually paying people to vote, it's all true. They did it. They went down there with money, and they talked homeless people into using a porta potty and a yard as an address for their residents, and made them sign up to vote for Karen Bass and Nithya Raman.
So, Elaine, think about this. I mean, we've got the evidence. This is the other thing, right? That's very frustrating. I get wonderful callers. I have wonderful listeners. They call me up and, when's something going to happen? And things are happening. When you look at the difference, there are people that are being charged and the rest of it. But when you look at this infrastructure that's been set up from prosecutors who are all part of that socialist Marxist mafia called Democrats, when you look at the judges that give the cushy sentences to, the good people have to do something drastic. And I believe when you look at the way in which our country was founded, it can be peaceful if, in fact, we articulate and make that convention of states argument and have those counties start this movement. I think this should be the direction of all good people in the country. And California is massively decent people, as Illinois is. And if we don't fight back, you're living it. I have never seen a faster collapse of civilization in a once incredible state like California. People who haven't been there cannot appreciate it. If you've been there in the 90s and you go there today, it's a different world. It's a third world now.
I completely agree with you. And you know something? I want you to understand what's happening in California. It did not start in the last 7 years. It started in our schools 3 decades ago.
Yes.
A lot of these kids are being brainwashed into thinking this is a future for them. They haven't figured out it is a dead end. It is at no leg up. And by the way, you're also right about the taxpayers. 40 million people in California, 17.5 million taxpayers. And the worst part about that is 214 guys pay 47% of them.
Oh, my God. Now, that's it. I mean, they must hate themselves. They must be so self-loathing that they hate themselves, because I personally am enjoying the youngest self-made monster who's being attacked by everybody, Elon Musk, because he gets it and he will not take the abuse. I think if you can focus on the fact and make people understand, this guy who came here with virtually nothing except an idea did more for America, more for American economy, more for Americans, making them millionaires and financially sustainable by just coming here. And he and people like him are the game changers, not Gavin Newsom, who is a trust fund baby from his father, who was J. Paul Getty's lawyer. How many people know that Gavin Newsom's trust fund is from John Paul Getty oil money? Do they know that?
I think a lot of people know, but I don't think they know what it means. I think people know there's bad out there. They don't understand how it drops down to the guy that's running the state. They don't understand. They don't nobody connects the dots.
Yeah.
It's like, it's almost like they don't want to.
No, it's effort to know.
Are Democrats offensive? Do they have a fight in them? And what is that fight? When do they stand up? It's my point about Democrats is what are you fighting for? Are you actually fighting for Marxism? Because I don't understand. When are you going to get upset?
It's funny when you think about you and so many people I knew. I was a mercantile exchange trader for years, and you watch these guys go down there to make a ton of money. And what do they really live on? They live on 40%, 45% of what they make. And what would they have done with the rest of that money? How would they have expanded the income? What businesses would they have opened? But that money is seized for them in the name of what? Losing it by government, and government's debt increases $30 trillion since Barack Obama's late on his car payment as a Chicago bust out. And you look at what this has done. And to me, we have to break that chain of us tolerating this system that abuses us, that cheats us in our elections, that steals our money in the name of somebody else, and they don't even give them the money. So I think now is time for a drastic change. And I'm curious to know what the lipstick farmer thinks. Are you starting a third party? Because we need at least one third party. I think we should start 7 parties.
Well, Al, I think it's really important to tell all of your listeners that this is a small fact that I've just recently figured out. 31% of America has deregistered or has found their way to the middle. 31% of America across the board. Instead of being Democrats and Republicans equaling somewhere in the neighborhood of 80%, it's not now. It's a third, a third, a third. It is actually true that there is a movement to the middle. So people are tiring of it. The question is, how does it then break away from what's considered a real election, like in California? It does not yet. What has happened is people that are in the middle are not being heard yet, but they are breaking away. They are fed up. Mark my words, Democrats have left the Democrat Party because the Democratic Party that's in charge does not represent their interests. This has happened. I have seen it with my own two eyes. There are plenty of Democrats out there that do not agree with these crazy Marxist, leftist, insane communist ideas.
Look at what we've covered, and I'm dead serious. I think there's a plan here. First of all, you run on the fact that your data is your data. Nobody else has to house it or store it. It's yours, and you monetize it. Number one. Number two, elections that are not calculated, orchestrated, and run like money are illegitimate. All of them are illegitimate. We have the technology to trade trillions of dollars in milliseconds. Not a penny is lost from any rightful owner. It should be the same with your vote. The answer isn't backwards. The answer is forward. Blockchain, and in order to vote, your fingerprint. End of story. And I think you win the next governor's race. What do you think?
I think you're so right, and I don't understand what the resistance is, because when he resists so much, he protests too much. You know that they don't want you to see that dirty room.
No.
That's what it's all about. They're cheating. They know they're cheating, and that's why they won't put it on the blockchain.
Yeah, I was playing golf one time.
You want too much honesty, baby. You want way too much transparency.
You're not kidding. I was playing golf one time. I used to be an okay golfer, and this guy takes me, and I'm a kid, and I'm playing golf, and there's a guy there. He looks like Luca Brasi with a golf club in his hand, and I hear the weeds going, and he hits on the green, and how many? One. I said, one. So I tell my friend, boy, oh boy, do you think he was cheating? He goes, he kills people for a living. He's a loan shark, muscle man. You don't think he'd cheat on a golf score? That's what I feel like every time a Democrat gives me an election. You're lying to me.
Exactly.
Elaine Culotti, I love the fact you made time for me. Where do we keep an eye on everything, Elaine?
You can check me out on Instagram under Lipstick Farmer, #Lipstick Farmer, or Culotti for California, Culotti for California, or just Google Elaine Culotti and go to any platform. You will find me, and I would love to talk to anyone. I try to answer as many DMs and requests, and I try to accept everybody and talk to everyone. And I don't care if love me or hate me. I love to talk to you.
Well, I appreciate you making time for me, and I look forward to watching you in the future, as I know you're tireless. Thanks again.
Take it easy. Bye.
You too. We'll be back with your calls and comments.
Marxists, socialists, and communists are not welcome on the Shaun Thompson